It was supposed to be just another bad date. Sophie Miller sat at the corner table of a quiet cafe in downtown Seattle, nervously stirring her coffee for the third time. She wasn't new to disappointment. Her last few first dates had been disasters, and tonight didn't feel any different. The man she was supposed to meet had been silent for 20 minutes, she sighed, muttering to herself, figures, probably another online joker. Just as she reached for her purse to leave, the cafe door opened, and in walked a tall man in a simple gray sweater and worn jeans. His face was familiar, too familiar. The man everyone had seen on magazine covers and tech articles. Daniel Hayes, the billionaire founder of the world's biggest green tech company. Sophie froze. No way. He looked around, spotted her, and smiled warmly. Sophie? Sorry I'm late. Traffic was insane. She blinked. This is a prank, right? Did my coworkers set this up? Daniel chuckled softly. No prank. It's really me. And if you give me 1 cup of coffee's worth of time, I promise to explain everything. She reluctantly sat back down. All right, Mr. Billionaire, you've got 10 minutes. Over the next hour, Daniel spoke like no billionaire she'd ever imagined. He talked about growing up poor, fixing broken computers for neighbors, losing his parents early, and how his company started in his garage. There was humility in his voice, gentle, almost vulnerable, but what struck Sophie most wasn't his success, it was his attention. He actually listened. He laughed at her sarcastic jokes, asked about her dreams, and even remembered the small details she'd mentioned online about her mother's health and her volunteer work at the animal shelter. At one point, she admitted, I almost didn't come. I thought your profile was fake. He smiled. You'd be surprised how often I hear that. They talked until the cafe lights dimmed, signaling closing time. Daniel offered to walk her home, but Sophie refused politely. She wasn't the type to be swept away by money or charm. Before she left, he said something that made her pause. Do you believe kindness can change someone's life? She thought for a moment. I think it's the only thing that ever has. He smiled again, this time softer, as if her answer meant more than she realized. 2 weeks passed. Sophie didn't hear from him again. Part of her was relieved, maybe it really was too good to be true. But another part, the one that remembered how he looked at her like she mattered, couldn't quite let it go. Then one morning, she got a call from the shelter where she volunteered. Hey, Sophie, the manager said breathlessly. You won't believe this, but someone just donated enough money to rebuild our whole facility. $1 million. They said it was in honor of you. Her heart nearly stopped. In honor of me? Who? But the donor had remained anonymous. Weeks turned into months. Life went on. Sophie's mother's surgery, which they'd been struggling to afford, was suddenly covered by a mysterious grant from a community health foundation. It was strange. Almost magical. Until one rainy evening, as she locked up the shelter, a familiar voice spoke behind her. Still don't believe in fairy tales? She turned, and there he was. Daniel. Standing under the streetlight, holding an umbrella and wearing that same gray sweater. She was speechless. Why? Why would you? He interrupted gently. Because kindness changes lives. You told me that the first night we met. And you've been proving it ever since. He stepped closer, eyes filled with something more than admiration. Sophie, I've spent years surrounded by people who wanted something from me. You were the first person who treated me like a person, not a brand. And then, he knelt, right there, in the rain, in front of the animal shelter that bore her name on the new sign behind him, the Sophie Miller Rescue Center. Her breath caught. He opened a small box, not with some flashy diamond, but with a simple silver ring. This isn't about wealth. It's about finding someone whose heart I never want to lose. Sophie Miller, will you marry me? Tears mixed with the rain as she whispered, I thought this was a prank. He smiled. So did I, until you changed everything. Months later, photos of their small, intimate wedding spread online, not because of the billionaire, but because of the bride's vows. He taught me that wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the good we do for others. And sometimes, the most unexpected love stories begin when kindness meets humility. The world called it the billionaire love story. But Sophie and Daniel just called it fate, and somewhere, in a quiet corner of that same cafe where it all began, 2 cups of coffee still sat on a table reserved every year on their anniversary, marked with a note that read, "The Billionaire and the Barista," some magazines called them. Others dubbed it the modern Cinderella story. But behind the glamorous headlines and filtered photos, Sophie and Daniel's life was beautifully ordinary. She still made coffee every morning, not in a designer kitchen, but in the same old ceramic mug she'd owned for years. He still wore his gray sweater, even though stylists begged him to switch to suits. They laughed, argued about who left the light on, danced barefoot in the living room, and spent weekends volunteering at the animal shelter that now helped thousands of strays find homes. To the world, Daniel Hayes was a billionaire innovator. To Sophie, he was just Daniel, the man who always asked how her day was and actually listened. But not everything was perfect. 6 months into their marriage, Daniel's company faced a crisis. A key project, a solar initiative for low-income communities, was falling apart due to investors pulling out. The board urged him to shut it down. "It's too risky," one executive said. "It won't profit enough." Daniel looked at Sophie later that night, his voice heavy. "They want me to stop the project. It's the one thing that could actually make a difference." Sophie took his hand. "Then don't stop it. You always told me kindness changes lives, maybe now it's time to prove it again." Her faith in him never wavered. For weeks, Daniel poured everything into saving the project. But one stormy evening, exhaustion caught up with him. He came home late, drenched and silent. Sophie found him sitting in the dark, staring at his hands. "I failed," he said quietly. "All that effort, and still, people only care about money." Sophie knelt beside him, the way he once had for her. "Daniel, you didn't fail. Every person who believes in what you're doing, every family that gets light in their home, that's your success. The rest doesn't matter." Her words, simple and pure, reignited something inside him. The next day, he decided to fund the project himself, even if it meant losing millions. Months later, the world changed again. Across rural America, thousands of homes once left in the dark now glowed with clean solar power. Children could study at night. Parents could work safely. Communities began to thrive. And when a local journalist asked Daniel why he took such a massive personal risk, he smiled and said, "Because my wife reminded me that real wealth isn't what we keep, it's what we give."